I voted for this. I voted for this. I voted for that.
Look, when Zelensky sat in the Oval Office and made this statement, you have beautiful beaches, but you're not going to feel that way for long. And Trump went off. I kind of understood why he did that. What does that mean? Is that a threat or was that a warning? Because I didn't like it when he said it. You like our beaches, that we have beautiful beaches, but we won't feel like that for long. I'm not cool with that. Not in a heartbeat. I don't care if it was a threat or a warning. How do you come to somebody's house and say that? How do you come and say that you've been in a war by yourself? Now when you've been getting aid since Obama, now when we've been sending billions of dollars over there to help, but you feel like you've been in this by yourself? That nobody's been helping? I need some clarification on that one.
Yes, she is right. But there is something more important I want to show you. When you take a look at this, the UK announces a new 2 billion deal to fund air defense missiles for Ukraine, according to Eurostat. And UK Prime Minister is vowing to put boats on the ground and planes in the air to provide a deterrent to Russia, as reported by The Guardian. The UK is prepared to back peace deal with boots on the ground and planes in the air together with others. Europe must do the heavy lifting, but to support peace in our continent and to succeed, this effort must have strong US backing. We are working with the US on this point after my meeting with President Trump last week, and let me be clear, we agree with the president on the urgent need for a durable peace. That is what this man discussed with Trump. What is the essence of bringing in planes, boats on the ground while negotiating for peace? I don't get it. I don't understand what exactly he mean by this, because a lot of people see this like escalation.
So I put a post on earlier regarding the Trump Vance Zelensky debacle yesterday. But one of the points I made was that the European forces, England, Germany, France, Netherlands, and all the other countries, are seemingly sort of potentially hinting at the fact that they might be prepared to step into the breach, that they might be prepared to put forces on the ground in Ukraine to try and keep the peace. And then you've got hawks in this country saying that we need to be prepared to go to war with Russia. And I just wanted to point out the complete insanity of that. Without the backing of the US, the entire European forces wouldn't last probably much more than a couple of months against Russia. Now, Russia at the moment is in a bit of a depleted state because they've been fighting the war against Ukraine. But Putin would have no hesitation in just chucking everything into a land war against us if need be. I just wanted to give you some numbers to run through. So the entire combined forces of the Army, Navy and Air Force for the UK totals roughly about 180,000 people. But that includes all of the non-fighting staff. So that includes mechanics, cooks, HR staff, trainers, logistics people, radar operators, etc., etc., etc. Thousands and thousands and thousands of those. The actual fighting staff, fighting capacity, is roughly speaking, depends what reports you read, anything from 70,000 to about 90,000. The army, I believe, is roughly sort of high 60s to 70,000. But the problem is, it's not just for staff levels, it's the weaponry. We have very limited numbers of tanks, very limited numbers of missiles. Even just plain stuff like bullets would run out very, very quickly because we've just not been geared up for war for decades now, and we've been cutting things to the absolute bone. So if we ever entered any sort of a serious land war anytime soon, everything would run out very, very, very quickly. Now, we could try and gear it up, but it's going to take months and months, if not years, and that's if we chucked everything at doing it straight away. And the situation is very, very similar in Germany and France and Netherlands, where they've been spending less of their GDP on their military than we have. So we're not in a position to step up and confront anyone, let alone Russia. Dominic Cummings, the ex-political advisor, who was the Conservative Party political advisor, who I'm very well aware many people absolutely hate, but he put out a very interesting tweet yesterday, basically saying that successive governments going back 25 years to the mid to late 90s, so the Blair government, the Brown government, Cameron, Boris Johnson, Theresa May, all of them right up to the current day, have massively underfunded and stripped our military to the absolute bone. And he said, it's not just conventional forces, it's not just our tanks and our planes and our ships and our personnel and our bullets and our uniforms and everything. He said it's our nuclear capacity as well. He hinted at the fact that what we're led to believe is our nuclear capacity might not even be particularly workable. And even that is very, very, very reliant on US backing, US funding, US technology, etc. Didn't really go into detail on that, but he sort of hinted at the fact that it's not what it's cracked up to be. So we're not in any position to do anything, which is a really sad state of affairs. And don't get me wrong, I 100%, I'm a very patriotic guy, I 100% support our armed forces and our personnel. This is not an attack on any of those forces themselves, particularly the men and women that are in those forces, who to my mind are heroes one and all. If you volunteer to go and serve and fight, potentially fight for your country, you deserve every plaudit going, every cap in your feather going, every feather in your cap, going. So this is not an attack on them whatsoever. This is an attack on the politicians and the senior military commanders that have not fought hard enough.
And this has resulted to a lot of people saying, oh, the US should leave NATO. That is what I've seen. It is trending on social media because they believe that if the UK and France that taken a decision to send boats to Ukraine, this might result to World War III. And America will be involved because of NATO. So the only thing America should do is to leave NATO. That is what I see on social media. At a certain point, I'm even confused on what exactly is going on at this time. People are scared. People are panicking. This is my fourth video about this topic. I stopped at a certain point. I didn't want to report any video linking to Ukraine. I didn't want. But when I saw what happened at the White House, I was forced to pass the message because it was weekend. I posted this video a few hours ago. I don't know if you saw it. For people who watched the clip, I'm going to replay it again so you can see because something happened. I had to trim out that part.
It's pretty stressful, actually.
Yeah, these are real enemies.
Like, I think that they actually want to kill me. And the reason I know this, well, they say so online. You know, there's like Reddit forums where they don't just want to kill me; they want to desecrate my corpse. You know, type of thing. You know. It's
and
not,
what are they saying? Why? What is the primary?
I mean, I think it's sort of just an antibody response. I mean, it's like they're like, well, he's an.
My goodness, up now in February of 2025 to 41%. And the clear majority of Republicans, and of course Republicans are in charge of the U.S. government now, 62% of Republicans say that the U.S. support for Ukraine is too much. What a difference from just 3 years ago. I can remember, John, all those backyards in the United States with those Ukrainian flags. Far fewer of them today, as Americans' opinions on Ukraine have changed dramatically.
What about opinions of the Ukrainian president?
Right. You know, obviously, if you would expect changes amongst the public on feelings towards Ukraine, feelings towards Zelensky have changed also dramatically. Look at this.
For the federal government, it will be much worse in the future.
Yes, when you take a look at what Elon Musk is doing here, he made it clear that what out there, his life is at stake, but he can't stop. All this booing everywhere, it is because of things like this. And I'm glad that the man stand by his word. He's not afraid. Thank you guys for always being there, sharing out my videos. God bless you abundantly. I see a lot of people in the comment sections trying to complain how I speak. I don't know. I think I've improved. If you watch me 3 years back, this is not how I do it. Today has changed. So every day I keep learning and struggling to improve. If you are hearing what I'm saying, please drop on the comment section. Let me see if you watch the video to this end. If you see clips after this, that is just for the YouTube algorithm.
I don't know if he needs an apology. Wow. I know I'm going to get killed on social media for admitting that, but so be it. And the fact is that it doesn't matter whether Vice President Vance planned it or just took the opportunity to bait Zelensky. Zelensky took the bait. Okay, and
what happened at the White House today?
Today, Donald Trump irreparably destroyed the 80-year-old post-World War II international order.
An Oval Office ambush of an American ally that will reverberate all around the world and stain America's image for years to come.
That was, to say the least, the most contentious confrontation between world leaders perhaps we have ever seen, certainly on television.
It was a truly historic moment, not in the good way. One that I fear realigned the world order, upending the only foreign policy consensus that most living Americans and Europeans have ever known.
A complete and utter mess. We don't gain anything by acting like bullies, and this is what bullies do.
I think there's no question that this was a setup. You heard Donald Trump say at the end of that clip you played, this is great television.
To issue an apology tonight?
Absolutely.
All right, so, but what else is going on? Not much. A World War III news, we're on the other side now. I don't know if you've heard that. Zelensky was in the Oval Office to discuss the big turnaround that the country has done, where Trump says now he's the dictator.
Statement for sure to say that it is one of the most astonishing moments that we have ever seen happen.
There's something I need to say, and I need to be blunt. So let me start by saying